Welcome to Dear Alice, a lifestyle approach to interior design.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dear Alice. Today, we're going to be talking all about beds. This one came in from a listener.
It did.
Yes, and I love this question. So thank you guys, for writing in with your questions. It's so fun to hear what you guys want to know because we feel like we've recorded all the podcasts there is. And then some of you say, guys, never stop. And we're like, surely we've already said all of our words, but then we do a podcast.
Break it down by item now.
Yeah.
Starting with the bed.
Today we dive into beds.
Tomorrow it's going to be about forks. Yeah.
Don't forget the spoon.
Yeah. So thanks for writing in. But first, I have a question for both of you.
Let's hear it.
Never would I ever is what we're going to play right now.
Okay.
Never would I ever sleep in. Since we're talking about beds today, what would you never sleep in?
I'm going to say waterbed. Couple of reasons. It's a little bit of like life trauma. When I was a kid, my mom and stepdad had a waterbed.
Mm-hmm.
I dumped all of my pennies that were in my Batman piggy bank
Oh no.
into this, like, onto the bed so I could, I don't know, bounce on it, watch the penny. I don't know. Yeah,
You wanted to film your own music video.
Yeah, I was doing something fun.
I like it.
I ended up popping the bladder. That's part of the issue is,
Oh no.
The mattress is called a bladder.
It's a bladder.
yeah, it's a bladder.
Yeah.
And then now thinking of it logically, just if you're sleeping with your significant other and then they like want to turn over, you're riding the wave in the middle of the night, whether you'd like to or not. And I was like, how the hell would that, who thought this was a good idea?
You know what's interesting too? They went away and they've never come back, which most things in life are kind of a cycle.
Yep.
That just tells you it was a bad idea.
That was a dead end.
Also, my parents also had a waterbed.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so funny about the waterbed is they would have, the headboard was a series of cubbies that were like, they have slider doors on them. And
It's
so
like you're at sea.
that was, yes, that was your nightstand.
That's so
Mm.
funny.
You didn't need
Nautical.
nightstands because of the cubbies behind the headboard. Well, how do you lean up in bed at night? You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You don't.
You can't stack some pillows.
Well, how would you sit upright on a water? Like your core would have to be magnificent.
Ooh,
You know?
I'll bet they did have ripped abs in the 70s. I bet they looked so
Just because
good.
of the waterbed bladder.
Also, do you know what's funny? I remember when my parents' waterbed heat went out and the water was freezing.
Yeah, and now you're on a
Now you're on a riverbank.
yeah,
It's
an ice
it's
bed.
literally the Titanic that
Yeah,
you're
for
sleeping
real.
on. Yeah.
For real.
Sleeping on an iceberg. Yeah.
Wow.
I agree
That's
with
hilarious.
you. I would never want to sleep on a waterbed.
The one that my parents had, it did have the sliding cabinet, and then it was
Nautical
mirrored
covers.
on the inside.
Yeah, it was.
Even at a 3-year-old.
That's so
I,
Las
so
Vegas.
sexy.
Yeah. Also, why do you need a mirror inside
So
of
your
a cabinet
so your
like
dad
that?
could see his hairy chest.
I guess.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
visual.
I don't even want to. Yeah, I
Who's
don't want
putting
to
the
picture
sheets on the
any of
bladder?
that. Yeah. Also, sheets on the bladder.
Sheets on the
How do you
bladder.
how do you make the
I have
waterbed?
no idea.
You know what? It's none of our business. Yeah.
No one knows anymore because it's a lost art, I guess.
Yeah,
It
write
is
in your
a
funny
monster.
waterbed stories. This will be a really fun review.
Does anybody have a waterbed still? Maybe let's start there.
I
Yeah.
know.
would
That's
be
Be an
hilarious.
amazing bladder.
You know, in Hollywood sets, they still had to hold on to one just in case they have to do a movie from that time period.
Yeah.
Nothing would be more, I think, crystal than a waterbed
Wouldn't
in that moment.
I don't even know if you could buy one. After this, I'm gonna Google that to see if you can
Cool.
even buy one.
See if you can buy one on KSL.
I just
Or
want to
what's
see
it
like
called?
Will Ferrell on a waterbed. Like that's the next film I want to like.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
guarantee you, he's done a spiff on this. Guarantee it.
Hilarious.
Oh man,
Never would I ever, Sue. Where would you never sleep?
guys, this was a hard one because I will sleep in most places. Put me.
Sue is the youngest
Yes.
child, and she was a surprise at that. So her mom had
So they're
her.
like, we have no room for you.
When she was,
You're gonna be a nomad.
in the attic.
so Suzanne's just so easygoing and literally can go with the flow anywhere. She loves to camp. She loves anything.
True.
Can sleep anywhere. Super agreeable.
Except I had to think real long and hard about this one. And I'm like, when was I the most uncomfortable in any sleeping situation? And it was Scotland, circa 2004, and a youth hostel.
Yeah.
You guys, and I love people, but like I felt very unsafe
Very
at that very
vulnerable.
moment. And it was a very small bed, and there were just noises. There's a lot of noises. Like I'd rather sleep in the middle of the mountains and like fend the bears or something, you know.
Absolutely.
like humans, like in another country, like they
Was
could
it
kill
girls
me.
only in the room?
No, it was just
Mixed
it was
bag.
everything. Yeah, it could have been like cold-blooded killers. I don't know. It was like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So
I slept in a youth hostel in France. I clogged in a festival.
say that again.
It sounds
that
like
one
I'm
more
lying.
time.
I know. I clogged in a festival in Europe with all these other dancers,
yeah.
and I made the Clog America team. I know. It's exciting. I was
That's
16
awesome.
years old. So I went over with cloggers from the U.S., and we had to stay in youth hostels, and all the girls would stay in the girls' dorm, if you will, girls' room of twin beds, and the boys would all sleep in the others. So it was separated. We were in Carcassonne, France, and we stayed there for 2 weeks. I stayed in a hostel, and they would give us a piece of bread and a bowl
Rations.
of
Oh my
warm
gosh.
milk, a bowl of warm milk for breakfast.
This is like this is also kind of like Oliver.
Yeah.
Remember the little story about the orphan?
And I was just like, I'm in
Can I have
Europe,
some more,
man.
please?
Look how cool Europe is. I just thought everybody was doing it. But yeah, it is very vulnerable.
What the actual?
Youth hostel.
So,
Good answer.
yeah.
Waterbed, Corey. Good answer.
about
Yeah,
you,
thank you.
Jess?
Yeah.
Okay, this is like my freakiest Friday thing that I've just like, this would be my nightmare. Do you remember the campers in the, I'll say 1980s, because that was my earliest recollection,
Mm-hmm.
where the camper sat on top of the truck? You
Yeah.
know, like
Yep.
the flatbed truck, not flatbed, but a normal truck.
Yep. Sits in the bed.
The part that goes up and over the cab, there usually was a mattress up there and some slitty windows,
Mhm.
you know?
Oh yeah.
That would be my nightmare, is to have to sleep on the mattress above the cab bed, because the ceiling height was so low. You'd be like threading the needle to
Mhm.
just get up there. You know how hot it would be too.
How
Like,
would you
think
escape
about it?
when the bear
and
came?
you're not sleeping on your side. That's for
No.
sure. Just-
No, you would be like sleeping in a coffin. I think a
Belly
coffin
down.
would have more room
Yeah.
or headroom,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Isn't that just
That's
the
a good one. A
freakiest thought?
coffin. I couldn't sleep in a coffin.
I also feel like flies would just be bouncing around up in there.
Grady said this to me the other day when we were driving down the freeway. He saw an RV and he saw some people through their window, you know, like
Uh-huh.
doing whatever they're doing in an
In
RV, or they're
cars,
driving
yeah.
down
Yeah.
I-15. And he said, "Dad, how come those people don't need to wear seatbelts in an RV?" And I was like, "You don't have to wear a seatbelt in an RV." He's like, "Well, what if they crash?" I'm like, "I don't know who made the rules, bud, but that's a very good question. I don't know why that's a
know.
thing."
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I would imagine there are people just taking naps and stuff. You imagine getting in a car accident and being up in that little
Oh,
space.
just like in a tuna can.
Yeah, you'd almost you'd be
dead
want to
meat.
be anywhere else
Yeah.
outside the vehicle at that
Speaking
point.
of being the youngest, I was thrown on the top of the van in that little slit. I just want you to know that
You
I
experienced
survived that. Yeah.
You're a survivor.
That was
I
her nightmare was
survived.
your
I know.
reality.
Yeah,
It's only I couldn't sit in the captain's chair because my dad bungee corded a TV
absolutely.
on that, so I had to go up top. Anyway,
Welcome to Dear
We could
Alice,
go-
everyone.
we digress.
I hope that you're still with us.
Good topic, though.
Yeah.
Well, it does lead into our question
Yes.
from Tambra Cook
Yes.
really nicely. So
Okay.
Tambra asks, she said, "I'm trying to choose a new king-size bed for my primary suite. Low headboards are everywhere, as are platform beds, curved headboards that span half the wall. I'm so unsure where I should invest my money. What's on trend with beds now? I don't want something that is a short-term trend."
It's a confusing time for beds right now.
Mhm.
So, really good question. I actually, for fun, just started looking around online at what some of the catalogs are selling right now. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
your CB2, your West Elms, your
Restos.
yeah,
Yeah.
restoration, all of that, just to be like, what is she looking at? Because we obviously are just inside of our own business and working away, and we don't oftentimes look up to see what everybody else is doing. And you know what, Tambra, you are absolutely right. We are seeing a lot of low headboards, curvy low headboards, things that span the wall behind the nightstand. There's some really interesting concepts, and it is
Yeah.
hard to find yourself in this and go, is this a long-lasting
Who am
solution,
I?
or is this the future waterbed? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
know.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it. We want to talk about. Let's talk first off about low headboards.
Yeah, let's
I think
do
this is
that.
a real. Again, that's the thing that you're seeing. And usually, when a client, if we show a bed to a client and they want to go lower, they'll start to look at these catalogs. And we just barely did an install where we got a. I think she got one from like West Elm or CB2 or something, and it was we just installed it last week, and it was so uncomfortably low. Like the headboard, it just didn't scale right with the room. We had a
This is for a
a
teenage
client.
daughter's
Yes.
room.
Yeah, this is for a teenage daughter's room. But
And
just
this was like the teenage daughter's idea. This is her dream bed, right?
no, I think it was just like to bring the price point down. Like we just had
Because you are buying a lot less bed,
You are.
so they should be less expensive. Yeah.
But the thing is like if you don't pay attention to the scale, even for like a cool low look, they're just too short. Like low headboards are just too short, especially if you're dealing with like normal human size nightstands and normal human size like lamps. Like everything that's going to just be floating underneath the nightstands and underneath the lamps. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The height of the headboard
Yes.
is lower than was it in line with the nightstand height? Just barely
it wasn't
above?
that high-
But if
much
you
higher.
do want to put pillows on it, you can no longer see the headboard. So it just
Yeah.
looks like your bed is on a
It
platform.
looks like it's on
Or it's
rails.
Pushed up against the
Yeah,
wall.
or maybe and you don't and like then you put pillows on top of it and you lost your whole headboard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let me build that scene a little bit more.
Yeah.
So you like when we do a bedroom, we'll have like obviously the bed, queen, king, whatever, and then our nightstands. Like we really think about like the height of the nightstands, and that's usually about 30 high, 28 to 30 inches high. And then you have a nice lamp that will cascade light so you can read a book at night. When you buy a low headboard, just make sure that it's like
You're getting the low nightstands that come with it.
exactly the ones that
So
are
the no
20 inches
nightstands.
off the ground because it's now
Yeah.
a platform bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like you really have to be careful with the low headboard. Like they can look sleek, but if you have tall ceilings, like you just look like dollhouse furniture. It looks really, really terrible.
Yeah.
So low
In
is
my
anything
opinion.
that's like under 45, maybe?
So
Yeah.
like if it's like 36, that's only 6 inches above your nightstand. Like 36, even like to that 45, I think that should be considered low. And just like as a parameter of what we like usually is around like 60 inch for a headboard, like 55 to 60 inch. So
Also, if you sit up in your bed, that's like not even giving you as much
No.
of
What
support
kind of
as
support?
sofa
Well, it's
would.
you'd be working on your abs at that point.
Exactly. Back to
Yeah.
the core. Okay.
Yeah. So if you don't want the support and you want to be able to really like hold in your abs all
Just-
night,
Yeah.
plyometrics,
Yeah.
get the low headboard.
There you go.
You'll be more
Yeah.
disciplined.
Yeah.
You won't be able to see your headboard over your pillows.
But you're going to have rocking abs.
You're going to have rocking
Smoking.
abs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
broken body.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. No.
Pair that with a water bed.
I know.
Man, we're
Can you
doing double
imagine?
time now. Yeah.
I
2
know.
a days.
Yeah. But I do think I do think the low headboard in general is trendy. I think it's modern and it's trendy. And I think that I wouldn't put it in my primary suite unless I lived.
It feels like maybe you're going to get this out of your system in your 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your
If you're
first
young and you
it's your
have
first
that core,
house, it's your first buy.
Yeah.
It's really affordable. It's trendy, right?
Yeah.
But if this is your
You can't afford euros yet. that
you
are gonna
can't afford
cover
Euro
up-
shafts.
cover up your headboard.
No, you're just putting your blanket and sheets
Yeah.
on that thing, and you're not really going to make
Get
it too
twinkle lights
much.
instead of a chandelier
100%. I think that's
and hanging succulents.
yes.
Are twinkle lights like just strung up Christmas lights? Or
Suzanne
Yeah.
did it in her
Yeah.
youth, and so
She
she's
did.
like, yeah, you know what? There was a
Reminiscing,
time
like,
and place.
Suzanne.
It's back when Sue and I were both staying in hostels, so we would have died for this low bed.
Yeah,
No.
amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
with
Like,
nobody
just-
else sleeping
You
with
just
us.
kind of roll off, and then you just like crawl to the bathroom because you're so low to the ground already. Like it's just
Yeah.
not-
Ooh, it's a safety feature too.
It is.
There
Yeah,
we go.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earthquake.
Moving sleeper.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Might as well put your mattress on the floor in the corner.
I love it.
Jeez.
Can we talk
Anyway.
about the long headboard now? We've just talked
Okay.
about the low headboard. So to define the long headboard is when the headboard goes behind the nightstands. So you've got we've seen several of our vendors have an option to basically it's basically a king headboard, and then you'll put 2 twin headboards next to it to go, and then you can put your nightstands behind it, and you kind of gang them together with clips. You could even go double height headboards to put another headboard on top if you
The
like
real
that
chest pounder.
really high. It feels very Las Vegas to
For
me when you get
sure.
like this really high headboard.
know.
Like hotel
like,
Las
I have a
Vegas,
lot of money.
right? Yeah.
Or a little Alice in Wonderlandy where the scale is just way off,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that's my least favorite thing. I don't like it in hotels.
Yeah.
I hate a really wide or long, however you want to say, headboard. It's like the accent wall of
Ooh.
beds to me.
You went
I
there.
dislike it. Yeah.
a lot.
I would say never do it.
I'm
Never
gonna.
would I ever.
Sue and I also were a strong no way never and hated the idea. And then we were like, wait just a minute.
Started going through the archives.
We remember doing this before for very specific clients that requested this and like a certain lifestyle. And we have photos for you today. So those of you watching on YouTube, you're going to get to see some of this. Let's start with the NBA player.
Okay.
Yes.
So we had to do a custom bed for an NBA player here in Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And his style was very, very cool. And it was chic and everything was like modern, textural, beautiful. And so we did this like really beautifully, like just stacked tuft, simple long low headboard.
Mm-hmm.
Anna, please.
Yes.
And we did it in a mohair on the body with like a leather like trim on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually really, really stunning because we did it in like a dark environment. So I think when you do this, I think you need to be like intentional about your design. It needs to be a vibe if you want to be successful. If you're just throwing it up like on any old wall and like it's not measured correctly and fits within either like sometimes like if it's fits within like an actual like nook or something, then it looks intentional and you're going to skin the room really cool. And that would make sense, right?
Right.
In this one, it just did because the whole thing was just giant because he was giant.
I
So
also
scale-wise,
like,
it made sense with this human body.
yes, I also like that there were channels in this headboard. And so it hid where the seams came together.
Yeah.
So it really was the illusion of one very, very, very long headboard. It ran beyond the nightstand, so it wasn't in line with it. And it was a total vibe. He also had a custom mattress because he's so tall. And so this bed wasn't your standard king. It was a much larger everything was custom. The sheets were custom, everything else to fit his really large frame. And I think it worked really well for him. He was also in his 20s and he really wanted this look. And I feel like it came out super chic.
Yeah.
The bedding story was very simple. There's no pillows that he has to set up besides one long lumbar. And so he could make his own bed and still have it look like it could be an Arc Digest. I thought it was a really good solution. So I did want to say we have broken our rule on this as we looked back. This was probably 2018, if I was guessing. Yeah, we've done another one since then. We'll put up on the screen for those of you that are watching. And this is in a current project of ours. This is our Barbie Dream House. And they wanted just a really beautiful, sophisticated, very modern home. And also a request of the client. Yeah.
What is what's the allure to them to want this? You know what I mean? Like,
I think there's an integration. Anybody that has requested this, whether we've given it to them or like showed them another like option, has been like, I want it to feel like a hotel. I think like this whole thing of just like this all in one system.
They want this escape.
You know, at
the end of the
like,
day.
It feels like something that's just like, and they may have lived with like all these separates before and it felt messy or cluttered. And so this is a way of cleaning it up.
Yeah.
You have the ones that also come with like the integrated nightstands. And I'm sure there's companies that do it in a very high end way. And we try and make ours look as good as possible when we have like done it. But I think I think that's the request, is just like this kind of hotel luxury living. It feels like a resort to them in their minds.
Resorts are like supposed to appeal to everybody.
Not to Cori Place.
Yeah. Exactly. Like that's the reason I don't like it, because it's like this is supposed to fit everyone who's ever going to stay in this room, and it's to me seems economical in the wrong way, because it's like how can we get away with like integrating these nightstands, but we don't have to pay for a bed and nightstands? You know what I mean? It's like a combo meal of a bed.
So 2 for 1.
Yeah. And
3 for 1.
It just doesn't feel put together, and it doesn't feel personable to me.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like it. But so I was wondering like why the client would say, this is really, when I go into a hotel, I really feel like myself. I don't know.
I think it's a really contemporary move. I do feel like a lot of the newer hotels do have a more contemporary feel, because most people don't go that contemporary in their homes. And I also feel like they're really sophisticated, like darker woods, things that feel special, like it's an escape from their home.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of why you go to a hotel and stay for your anniversary, or if you're traveling, you want this experience. It's like, oh my gosh, I am I'm a whole new person. You're like, well, I'm on vacation, or you just want to feel different and experience. You want to eat different food. You want to see different things. And so everything feels unique from home, I feel like. So I think both these rooms really feel like hotel spaces. They're also very contemporary, but they are their primary spaces. And I think they're very high end, which also luxury, I think, clips up this idea of the low, long headboard. It doesn't feel like the catalog bed. But you're going to know if you're that person that you want this. And so Tambra, I don't think that you need to, I mean, you can obviously see these images and see if they are like super exciting to you. And then you could go after a custom solution that feels a little bit more special and elevated because of the fabrics and the tufting and the materials used to get there. So I don't know. That's one pro tip to achieving the low, long headboard if you like it. But this is definitely the exception to our rule when it comes to beds.
And when you think about these rooms, like in this bedroom, like the whole house has the same vibe. You know, this is the one long low headboard, but the whole thing like merits like this kind of look, and it was successful in both of these occasions. But I will say that the actual heights on these, probably, NBA players was still high enough for him. So scale wise, it still made sense in the room. Yeah. It wasn't too low for the space.
It was still probably 4 feet high.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like this one's probably still at the 60s. So anyway, so just play with your scale.
You're right. That is at the 60s. That's the Barbie Dream House. Yeah. If you guys want to look at the portfolio later, if you're not on YouTube, that's probably 60 high. It's just so wide because it goes behind the nightstands. And the nightstands are mirrored here. And so you also get this optical illusion of it just reflecting everything back. So very contemporary, very slick.
The ceiling, I can see. Yeah. That is mirrored as well.
Sure is. Also a request from the client.
Fun for them. Yeah.
It is fun for them. Yeah. Okay, let's move on from the long low headboard. Should we?
Let's go to the 4-poster.
Okay, yes. Okay. Yes.
In our glossary of
I've
beds.
never had one, and I'm not going to lie. Like, I've never entertained the idea, but I've heard you guys talk about it multiple times. And refer to it as a room within a room. And I'm like, there's nothing that sounds cozier to me. At some point in my life, I would love to have a 4-poster bed.
It's kind of
really cool.
I think it is the bed of a lot of people's dreams. And when you see it in a book or a magazine, you kind of get this like feeling. It's this really grand trick. And I once read a long time ago that you use a 4-poster bed when it's a really large scale room. And that's how you're going to create a room within the room. So in the case of Rachel Parcells' room, we did a 4-poster bed because this bedroom was so huge. We could fit not one living room grouping, but 2 living room groupings and a bed. So it's the scale of the room was just so huge. We were like, we need to create a safe feeling of somewhere to sleep in this sea of furniture. And we've got to create some intimacy and get some draperies and some softness and do all the tricks to try and make this feel, more like, just bedroomy. And so we created the room within the room and did a Gracie paper on the whole walls, beds painted white.
So rad.
You can also drape a 4-poster bed, which is, the canopy curtains on it. And that's such a vibe. Oh, we should have included
Wander Lane.
Yeah.
Our Wander Lane project on the portfolio has one, and it's dreamy. It has this kind of tissue pink sheer on the 4-poster with this, and it's floating in the middle of a room.
Yeah.
And it is dreamy, and it's vaulted. And again, to try and create some ceiling, so you don't feel so lost in a space.
So vulnerable.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I honestly think it's every little girl's dream is a 4-poster bed. I think it's
or teenage girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little girl.
Right?
Yeah.
We all wanted that. And we wanted
or full-grown man.
Full-grown man.
I don't know.
Anybody that loves love. It's a 4-poster bed.
It is very romantic.
It is.
Yeah. And there's obviously more contemporary, versions of it. We've got in this project, our Coastal Contemporary. I love this space. It's probably still one of my favorite bedrooms we've done, and it's a decade old now.
So pretty.
But it's got the plum mohair.
That's where I feel
very
like
contemporary.
a tall headboard makes sense to me.
Also, the husband was 6'4", and so the height of this felt really, really good. I think with his scale, again, another really large bedroom, but creates intimacy within the room, that room within a room, and kind of a safety.
Oh, beautiful.
And you just feel like a shelter sleeping within it. So I think that's so beautiful. The last 4-poster bed example is our Highland Manor, Sue,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And this is a lucite
Yes, it's so
4-poster
it's like
bed.
tubular lucite 4-poster. And it's so pretty. Again, this is a vaulted space. So again, in these really like rooms with a lot of volume, 4-posters are awesome. And so in this one, yeah, the lucite with those nickel like hinges at the corners. Anyway, it's so pretty. And it just, again, it kind of brought it down to human scale.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
We need to
Really
develop one.
A 4-poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I've-
That was
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm thinking very
So-
selfishly, but I'm like, I really want one.
Yeah. So Tambra, if you have a lot of volume in your room, like you have really high vaulted ceilings, or if you know if you dream of a 4-poster bed, I just think you need a lot of space in a room to be able to pull it off, because it's this big jewel box of a
ta-da.
moment. It is a ta-da. And in a small space, I feel like it's just going to make your space feel smaller, like
Mhm.
Russian nesting dolls, right? Like here's a small room with a 4-poster bed in it. And then inside of that, we're going to get another box, and then inside of that, another box. So I think you just have to have space around it to make it feel really, just really on point design wise. Yeah.
It's dreamy. It's dreamy.
Yep.
Okay. So I also
Um,
asked about winged beds
yes.
and curved beds. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
So,
I think one thing like with the winged bed, because I remember, and I think it was like closer to like the first half of Alice Lane.
yeah.
There was one that had a wing. Which one was? And it was tufted.
Yeah.
And we sold a bunch of those. And
It was
it
Vanguard.
was a Vanguard one.
Michael Weiss.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a diamond tuft, and like
Mhm.
couldn't get enough of this bed.
Yeah.
And like the
Cleo
wing-
bed?
Yes,
The Cleo
from
bed.
the archive of Alice Lane. That was like Alice Lane vintage.
Oh
right
my
there.
gosh.
Well done.
Thank
Well
you.
That was not prepped. That was off the
That
cuff,
was
too.
off the
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
job.
yeah. I
Wow.
just pictured it in my head when you said the
Right?
diamond tuft. Yeah.
Your kids have a photo shoot on top of it.
They
Jumping on
do.
it. They're
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah.
cute. You should post that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the thing I think that was successful about that, again, like we probably wouldn't like put it anywhere because we're so sick of it. We don't want to do it anymore.
Also, the diamond
diamond
tuft
tuft.
is really
Yeah.
done. Like it's not been a thing for a
Yeah.
while. It looks dated. I feel like most people that have a diamond tufted headboard are like, "Can I get a new bed now?"
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a lot to
Yeah.
look at.
As far as like the wing on it, though, the good thing about that one was the wing wasn't too exaggerated.
Yeah.
There have been some beds that like the wing is just like it comes out too far,
Uh-huh.
and then you get stuck back there. I get being sheltered and cozy, love it, right?
Yeah.
But if you have like a full wall, like how are you going to get your phone on your nightstand
Yeah.
without standing up and like or falling off the bed trying to put
If the
something over
wing
there?
is too severe, you can't reach your
You
nightstand.
lost the game.
So
You gotta do
well,
that.
well then
And
your
you're
phone.
Well,
searching.
well, then you got to float your nightstand forward away from the wall to make it work, and then you're just gonna see all the cords back there, and it's hard. I
Or
do,
then you're gonna really wish you had that nautical waterbed thing in the back.
yeah,
Only do
totally.
it then.
totally.
Found a purpose.
I think, but here's what I think. I
Yeah.
don't think anybody's winging as wingy as they did back in the
No.
day. Unless
No.
it's in our eyeliner. I don't think anybody's
What?
winging that
Shishy.
hard.
I feel like,
Yeah.
2012, like
Yeah, hot.
wings were.
So hot.
Yeah.
Wings and diamond tufts.
Mhm.
Am I right?
Yeah.
yeah. So
100%.
these are the things you want to avoid if you're buying a bed today, because those things were trending pretty hard at the time, and you want to look back and like something that you would have liked a decade ago.
Yeah.
When it comes to your bed, I just feel like there's just some really universally beautiful things that you could get today, which would be at least a 60-inch high headboard, right? Not
Mhm.
have too severe of a wing, but still a wing is pretty if you're
A little
traditional.
shelter. And I like the idea. She talked about the curve, and in my
Yeah.
mind that has like a soft curve on the corners. I'm like, I'd be down for that.
I like that
I think
too.
that's
Yeah.
That sounds cozy.
I think so
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Channels have been a big thing for a while. That's when the bed is, you have like vertical stitching, and then you have the channeling or the pillowing that comes out beyond those channels. So we've seen that both horizontally done in,
Your
House
bed
of
has it
Kennedy?
also.
oh, my bed does
Your
too.
bed.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We'll
sure
hurry and
does.
show them a picture. Those of you that are watching
printed this
this.
off into a
Yeah.
page. It's-
You're right. I've got channels.
You sure
Guys,
do.
this was my dream bed, like since I opened Alice Lane. And I don't even know that you can still get it today, but it was Marriott Heims Gomez for Hickory Chair, and it's called the Chamber Bed. Who am
Google
I
it.
today?
Gosh,
oh
man,
my
you are
I
gosh.
just went back and got the pen.
So this is my bed, and I did it in like a plum
Yeah, it was just like this plum cut
kind
velvet.
of
It's really
slubby.
pretty.
Yeah, it's so pretty. I still love it today horizontal channels.
I prefer a horizontal channel
I do
versus
too.
a vertical. I feel like the vertical, it feels too trendy. And I see that a lot in like
Agreed.
a catalog.
I also feel like you want to kind of go against the grain. Same principle as like a hardwood floor in a hallway.
Yeah.
You don't want to run those. No, actually, you would run them long. Never mind. This principle doesn't work. Sorry.
Backspace.
Backspace. Pay no attention to me. I agree with the horizontal channel, though. It pulls your eye from left to right. It's kind of like in the
It's restful.
the watch ad in those high-end magazines, and the
Mhm.
hands are at 10 and 2. It's just like your eyes are just like restful on that. The eyes are not sitting, or the arms of the clock are not sitting at 6 and 12. Up and down. It's
Yeah.
just a little fierce and sharp, and I think this is more
It's a
restful
better rhythm.
for a bedroom.
It's a better rhythm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you're, and it's not like, yeah.
Yeah. Good talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the horizontal. And
I do too.
Oh, that bed is just channels everywhere. The rails are too.
That's my bed.
That's amazing.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
Yeah.
I think the other reason this is successful, like a successful channel versus a non-successful channel, I think is the amount of pillow that you have. If it's just like flat and it just has stitching, I think it's a cheap giveaway. Like
Mhm. It's like
It
I
is.
think
we
you
didn't
kind
succeed
of
at what
want
we were
some,
doing.
like kind
Yeah.
of like our Clio, like there's some like volume to the hump, right? Or that
Yeah.
curve that goes all the way around.
Yeah.
Same thing with channels. If it's just a flat stitch, like have them add some goose down in there or something.
Yes, I will say to that point of liking dimension on a headboard, so it's not too flat. I do think a little bit of a silhouette is nice, like the curved bed. We have one that's launching, I think next week, and it's called the Marlowe bed.
Yep.
And it's got a curve, a dip in the middle of it, and it just adds a visual softness to the room. I feel like bedrooms need soft lines. They feel more restful at the end of the day.
Mhm.
It just feels like it's a kind place to come home to. And
Yep.
and I don't know, maybe that's just more of a like a feminine girl's idea. I don't know how you feel about a curved bed, Cori, but
We have the Monroe bed that we developed here.
yeah.
I feel like that is more masculine. I do love it. Having said that, there is something a little bit more whimsical about a shape that has movement to it.
Yeah.
So that I do love. And with the Marlowe, there are a lot of like headboards out there now on the market as well that are just like flat. And again, I think that's trying to hit a price point type of thing, or maximize cost, whatever. We added a little bit of crowning or pillowing to the front of it, so it's not just like a board. There's kind
It's
of
been upholstered. Yeah.
There's some movement. There's some dimension to it.
Too.
Yeah.
Love it,
Yep.
too,
Also
which is
comfort
nice.
if you're going to sit up against
Exactly.
your bed at night with a pillow behind you.
Absolutely.
It just is more comfortable,
Yeah.
visually more soft. We have a bed also with 2 channels at the top, 2 horizontal channels, Frankie, and it has a little bit of a wing, not so much that you can't reach your nightstand, but I think the dimension of that also feels really beautiful, and it's a great transitional piece. You can take it more traditional with the wings or more contemporary or in the middle.
Yep.
And just a super versatile bed. It's at least 60 high. I think that one's fantastic.
And I feel dependent upon, we have that in 2 different fabrics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can lean, either more feminine, masculine, So that's a very versatile bed.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term. So
Yeah, I think so too.
As I was looking through our portfolio, just trying to find examples of just like what are the beds that we used, the majority of them are about that like 60 high, but they're all different. Each of them, like not just the upholstery, but just even the styling and like these little details. So I do think it's a personality point. Like I don't think you have to just be, again, like a straight board and it's at 60 high and you check the box and that's it. I think you can do some deep diving to just say that lights my fire. That 4-poster like gets me going. Whatever it is, like there's really good details in all of these that you can check it out on the portfolio. And I think that's kind of you choose your own adventure on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. We have one last point we want to make about beds, and that is what not to do. Remember the show called What Not to Wear? It was on TLC.
yes,
Clinton and Stacy.
I didn't remember their names.
The
Man, you
co-hosts?
are just a
I
wealth
know.
of
Listen,
knowledge today.
Listen, guys, stick with me. I read once that you never, ever, ever want to sleep in a metal bed. You don't ever want to sleep in anything that conducts electricity.
Mhm.
This is a feng shui belief.
She's been saying this for a long time.
Ever since I
I've
read
known
it,
her.
though, I was like, oh man, it's like accidentally chewing tinfoil if you have a feeling. Do you know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
feel like a little bit zappy, and I just don't ever want to be that vulnerable in a metal bed on a lightning storm kind of night.
Yeah,
It's just
totally.
it's too much.
Turn the
Totally.
lightning, sir.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
Okay.
I'm such a light sleeper, so I just want to bring it up again. But again,
They're
turning
not
over in the middle of the night and you're just like
Yeah.
clanging, and,
Yeah.
you know, like
rough.
what the heck? That
Yeah,
is.
you don't want to have to oil your bed
No.
like you do your door.
Give me that WD-40.
Yeah, yeah.
We're squeaking again.
Okay. And I know you felt this way because we've done nurseries, and you're just like, no to the metal crib. But I'm like, there's something so cute. I'm gonna object on this one. So cute about a little brass crib.
It is so cute.
I think it's so cute.
Just
Demi's
electrocute that baby. Just that vulnerable
I know, but
little
Demi's is
baby
metal.
What a
yeah.
great photo shoot before
just
little one comes.
made out of soft tissues and just
Oh,
little
Jess.
baby hair, and you're just gonna stick her in a metal crib.
Oh,
I can't think of anything more
Damn it,
cacophonous.
Oh man! Don't put that thing by an outlet. That's for damn
Okay.
sure.
hey,
Thank goodness there's a mattress in there. Or
Something to ground
or
you.
none of us would have made it this far. I know what you're
Oh,
saying with the baby, but we tie a little bumper on that thing, a little slip cover. I get it. They are beautiful and they're French and they're.
Every now and again, you're just like, ooh, the middle bed's kind of cute.
Well,
if you're
you-
not an adult leaning
Do
on
you
the
have
headboard.
your baby in a metal crib?
Yeah.
Do
hers-
you have your baby in a metal crib?
No, it's wood.
Oh, it's wood. Okay.
Grady's was wood,
If
but
it was a girl, though,
Yeah.
for sure I would have like looked at the brass ones.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, she'd have a canopy too over the top of
Gotcha.
that thing.
Ridiculous. Should have just done that for the boys. Been more fun.
Yeah.
you know what? Grady was into chewing on the rail of his, and Demi is
The
not.
yellow
So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Yeah, like 'cause
Yeah.
Grady's was
Oh,
wood,
he-
and yeah, you know, take a bite every once in a while. I don't know why. What
He's a
kids do.
boy.
Yeah,
It's none of-
exactly.
It's
You
none of
don't
our
need logic.
business.
Yeah, you just do.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah.
I think that's my biggest. I mean, my biggest is like to the metal bed. I don't love it. Also, we have down here tall headboards. That second headboard on top of the first one is just a lot.
Especially if it's in pieces.
You've seen this somewhere in Las Vegas, and it's black velvet, and it's double height, and it is just so porn star.
I was about to say
Yeah.
it's just a
You know what I
porn
mean?
village, man.
Sorry, mom. But you know what I mean? It's just too theatrical. It's too much.
You're
And
probably vertical
I
channels on
also,
those too.
oh gosh, I also feel like I do think that this is a trend that has gone away, since then. I haven't seen anybody want to be that dramatic since
I feel like the 2011 to 2008, like 17 maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like it lasted for a while where people were into it. And
also though, like
there was
when
a
I
lot of objections.
when I
on
look
our
back at
end.
my own photos from them, it's not good. So I don't think anything was good yet. Maybe in 10 years we'll be like, remember how awesome double height headboards were? But
I hope not,
I'm
but
just kidding.
Rolling
we'll
around
see.
in
We
our
actually-
our new water beds.
yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, that's our
gross.
our last thing on not to do is a waterbed, but I don't even know how you'd get one today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey's gonna find out
I'm gonna
after this
yeah.
episode.
I'll put a
I'll
link
let
in
you
the
know.
show
You guys-
notes if you're interested.
Do you guys think that maybe today somebody has found an old waterbed and put an actual mattress in it because they just love that cubby behind the headboard that's mirrored?
It's so helpful.
Yeah, I mean, definitely
You
possible.
need chapstick?
Yeah.
Anything.
It's so close.
Chapstick.
These days, make it electrified. They'd be just like a fridge.
I
Just
know.
put everything
I
into
know,
it. Just all.
condiments, all
Yeah.
the things.
Gosh, talk about combo meal.
I know. Oh man,
That's
this
hilarious.
was fun.
This is
This
fun.
was a lot of
Well, I
fun,
hope you guys
too.
enjoyed this episode. Now I hope you guys can pick your perfect bed. Thank you guys so much for listening to Dear Alice. If you'd like to see the Dear Alice beds we talked about, head over to alicelanehome.com and shop our Dear Alice collection. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you guys next time. Hey, thanks for listening. If you like our show, please leave a 5-star rating.